Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the antidote to lockdown boredom. Stop it! How unprofessional!
You get what you pay for on here, Dave.
Yeah, what you paying for?
I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Today we have got with us Mr. MathPig.
Hello.
Mr. Badger. Mr. Scummer.
Mr. Scummer, sir, thank you very much.
Mr. Sal.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Mrs. MathPig.
Morning. Sorry.
Right. How are you doing, Sal? We haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Dealing with some dental stuff. I'm going for more surgery at the end of the week, so that's why I'm not very talkative. But as soon as all this nonsense is over, I'll be regular again. It just keep the teeth.
Excellent, and I hope that goes well.
Thank you.
Right, first question. Question 451. What would you do if you were invisible for 5 minutes? Is that grin she got?
Wait, only 5 minutes?
Only 5 minutes. Right, I can give you 24 hours to prepare,
Okay, that helps.
but you only get 5 minutes invisible.
That sucks.
And can we drive to where we want to be and then switch the 5 minutes on?
No, the 5 minutes is in 24 hours' time. From
Okay,
now.
I have 24 hours to get where I want to be. Right.
Yes.
when does the invisibility kick on? Like when you wake up?
Exactly
There's no-
24 hours from now.
There's no point saying appearing on critical questions because like Dave's like not had me on screen before, so it doesn't make.
No one noticed. As long as they can hear you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to haunt some fucker actually.
Someone in particular, or just?
Yes, I just have to figure out who, but I definitely if I could just get some paranoia and like. Haunt someone if they can think there's like a poltergeist about or something. Just start moving shit about the room.
I mean, part of me would like to go to wherever David Icke is and start bending fucking spoons and throwing them at him.
Can we
not-
make things invisible by touching them, or like are we running around naked, or what's the crack?
You're running around naked.
Well, that's no good.
Well,
Have you never
all,
seen any Invisible People story?
Well, that cuts our time down from 5 minutes really, because we need to get back to where our clothes are hidden and get dressed before we
Clothes in an invisible bag.
So,
Can your clothes be in an invisible bag?
apart from the fact we
No.
need to find our bag again.
Robbing a bank. See,
What?
if we're only getting 5 minutes, you could just walk in and out of a bank vault if you would allow me to make things invisible. I'd be set up for life.
No, because
Banks
you
don't
don't.
carry that much money.
They carry enough for most people to be set up for life. Just not only worth the risk. Sammy said one word: fanfiction.
He's just here to start shit. That's all he is. He's just here to start shit.
I would sneak into Disney and break it.
How would you break it in 5 minutes?
Just creative. He'll find a way.
Give away my secret plans to you, Dave. That ruin the whole surprise.
The question was, what would you do if you were invisible for 5 minutes?
Break Disney.
I have an answer.
Go on.
Okay, so what you do is you get into a place like Tiffany's, where everything is out and it's a lot of money, and you find a place to hide.
Yeah.
So that you're there for the rest of the day. So they leave, then you steal all the shit and you get the fuck out.
You don't need to be invisible for any of that.
But then it's a 5-minute
No?
free. That's not. See,
The
5
invisible
minutes.
sure makes it a lot easier.
Well, and there is an advantage, yes.
Yeah, it does.
5 minutes is not enough time.
Am I the only one here not
To
suggesting
hide
criminal
it.
activity?
Yes. And I didn't mean David Icke. Who the hell did I mean?
Uri Geller?
Uri Geller.
I need more time, Dave.
Although
How long would you like?
David Icke lives on the Isle of Wight. That's not too far for me to go.
Swap it round, Dave, and how about in 5 minutes you're invisible for 24 hours?
No, because you can do everything in 24 hours.
Not if you're where you are right now and you've got 5 minutes to prepare.
Right, I can't.
I may well give you another question at some point where you have longer, but the difficulty here is it's 5 minutes.
Okay, see, 5 minutes is too
If you
short.
said-
24 is too long.
So hypothetically speaking, if you said we were invisible in like say, I don't know, 5 seconds, you know, so how would that work?
That was quite good. The question is how long till you reappear?
Oh, right about now.
You flipped that so quick, it was really good.
I didn't even notice it being flipped at all.
It was just there and gone.
Actually, I think I might I'd like to seek out someone like some certain asshole who porn bombed my channel and just like you know, whilst he's completely unsuspecting, kick him in the nuts whilst I was invisible.
But again, would that not be more satisfying while you were visible?
It's going to be more satisfying when he's laying on the floor and I reappear in front of him.
24 hours to get over to Dave's house, find out where the baby spiders are, and throw them at him just as I turn invisible so he can't catch me. Bye!
He kills the baby spiders. Well, he
They're all gone. They're all inside the Hoover.
You hoovered them up.
Open the
What
Hoover.
do you do? Say again?
Open the Hoover on him.
The spiders can't survive a Hoover.
You can't survive a Hoover.
Spiders can't. What's interesting is wasps can.
Yes.
Trust me, I've done
What's
extensive
more interesting
studies.
is yeah, I was going to say, have you done experiments?
Yes.
Wasps. I found a blowtorch worked quite well on a wasp nest actually once.
Welcome back.
There we go.
I'll tell you what works well with wasps.
That's far better.
Fermented apples. When all the apples fall on the floor, you know, they fall off the tree, but nobody picks them up because people are idiots and don't collect apples. So all the apples fall on the floor, and they start to ferment. And the wasps go, "Ooh, apples!" And they go down, they start eating these apples. But the apples have started to ferment, so they've become alcoholic. So the wasps are all just fucking drunk now. And they all fly around, crashing into shit, just go, "Ah!" That's how you deal with wasps.
What does that have to do with being invisible for 5 minutes?
You brought up the wasps.
I thought he was going on about being invisible.
This is where it goes every day, Sam. Oh.
Doorknob says he wants enough time to take out a room full of politicians and extract myself. Or better yet, millionaires. I think Doorknob Head just wants to kill people.
Yeah.
See, I'd normally expect me to be the one coming up with like the answers involving murder or theft or anything like that.
You're the one that's screwing people.
I actually just want to like fuck with some people's heads here, you know.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to
maybe
mind.
kick one person in the nuts.
5 minutes. For 5 minutes, I definitely try to like. See, at first I was like, I'll try and jump like on, like you see, like in New York they have cops on horses. Like, I'll just spank the shit out of that horse and watch that shit go crazy.
See, I think you could take out a politician in 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
What, for like dinner?
That's a quick dinner.
That's true.
I think I think you could get close enough to Trump to kill him.
I was definitely thinking that, but not 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes.
Why not
Why
5
would you-
minutes?
Why the fuck
It's
would
gonna
you-
take you
why-
5 minutes to get across wherever you are to get.
Yeah, but you only need to get from wherever is a zone.
Right.
do see-
Normally, you can get within 100 meters of him, no problem, which you
You
do
do
fully
see-
clothed.
You do see the flaw in your plan there, though, don't you?
But announcing it on YouTube.
Well, not only that is you. If it's just going to be any kind of success whatsoever, you need him and Pence to be in the same place at the same time.
Oh yeah.
You need more than him and Pence. I'd take a lot more of them out. I'd settle for a nice time at the Senate, but you need a little more time because it's going to take you 5 minutes to get from point A to point B.
But you don't need to be invisible for all of it.
I
think 5 minutes is not enough time.
Again, what I'd actually sooner do if I could again, it's maybe being a bit more childish, it's like killing Trump. I just like to sort of get behind him and like just try it and pull his hair off and see if it's a fucking wig or not on like when he's doing a speech.
Just smack the shit out of him.
Just like
slap.
There,
I like that.
There goes your stirrup, son.
Yeah.
Just slap him every time he says something.
Great, though. Yeah, I think that's how I would spend it. If I have enough time to get close to him, like while he's up there on the podium, I'll smack the shit out of him and just look at the reaction on his face and just, where's it coming from?
Nerdy says, I'll watch MathPig in the shower for 5 minutes.
Ooh.
No.
Why? What? Is it that bad?
Is it enough time, Sammy?
Wait a minute. Is it that bad, Manda?
Shut the fuck up.
Grumpy old dude said, I've had my fill of violence, too old and tired for that shit. What would you do? I mean, Jeff's first answer was screw with haunt someone.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite good. And mine was screw with Uri Geller.
I'm going to throw spiders at Dave and run.
And yeah, the MathPig's going to torture me. If all of a sudden spiders start getting thrown at me, I'll know it's you.
But you can't catch me and prove it.
I can squirt water at you.
After you get
You
on...
walk around with like a squirt gun on you, Dave.
You would be surprised how good, well it is, how convenient it is when you're a cripple and you have a child to have a squirty water bottle.
Oh my god.
Isn't the like self-floating super soaker going to be a bit of a giveaway?
I wouldn't be invisible, he would.
That pig is going to be invisible.
Right. There you go, Ed. Pull Trump's wig off. see an actual dickhead. Randy, pull on his hair.
No collusion.
Run, Nerdy, run. What is
was
it?
a lot of fun tormenting Trump.
See, I think tormenting is 5 minutes is so little time.
Yeah.
I think tormenting is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
So you're in agreement with the spiders. That's good.
Tormenting other people.
If I was just there as like some sort of disembodied voice or something, perhaps I could just be next to Trump and like shout out really loud, "This is the voice of God, and I do not. This man does not fucking represent me, Christians."
Oh, I've got an idea.
I would
You
love-
could wear a mask. You could wear a mask, like a latex mask, and float.
If I could get Jay in on the prank so that he sort of walks into the room just as I say that, you know, we could really make the Christians think that Jesus has come back.
It would be even. I would love to too bad you can't go invisible. Can you go invisible only to torment him? So I would go just to whisper in his ear and drive him mad. Like watch him just react.
You've got to do it in 5 minutes.
You're assuming he doesn't hear voices already.
Yes.
Correct. I would like to see him just lose it on stage. Worse than he does now. That's really what I want to see him do. I want to see him lose it so bad that it's just. I just want to see him lose it that bad.
Did you see the video where they thought there were shots going off and he's grabbing the podium, had the fuck what was going on?
I love the little meme someone did of that with the little gif of Bernie Sanders sneaking up behind him and going like boo and Trump like.
Hey, what were you going to say, Badger?
I said if you're wearing masks, don't wear a badger one. I don't want to be implicated in this. Completely anonymous until my own plan comes to fruition.
Oh, how about if I wear a Mickey Mouse mask and
Yeah,
we know where the blame's going to go?
Oh,
Yeah.
so can you be invisible and without? I'd wear a mask and be invisible for 5 minutes. Just walk around with the head just bobbing around.
Well, that's it. The floating head.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
unique idea. Every
No,
idiot's
no.
done it.
Put on screen right
No,
now.
definitely not unique, but I definitely use that power to freak people out. Definitely.
Excellent. How is badgers eat hedgehogs relevant?
What is this relevant to?
Well, this is and then
I
donut
hear
head,
nothing.
lucky hedgehogs. Say again.
Be tasty.
I think someone saw that stream we did yesterday, Badger, when we were in Jem were reacting to some of your videos.
Oh yeah. I should mention that while badgers in general will eat hedgehogs, I, as an ethical environmentalist badger, try to avoid it because the hedgehogs are not doing so well in terms of population numbers.
Do you hear the words he is saying?
I appreciate
He is
the word
categorically stating he eats hedgehogs.
What the hell did I miss?
No. He's saying other badgers eat
No,
hedgehogs.
he
because
categorically
he
stated
himself.
just then. Listen, I know how politicians talk. He categorically stated he eats hedgehogs.
Of course I eat hedgehogs. I'm a fucking badger, mate. That's where you get the spice.
You can't use these weasel words on us.
That's not weasel, it's badger.
Randy says badgers get hungry. I almost misread that's horny. And Seraphim says kinky.
See, I noticed the flaw in your video yesterday, Badger, in the diet that there wasn't the Badger's diet. There wasn't Battenberg cake and cheese.
Well, you see, I wasn't talking about the hyper-evolved Mela sapiens. I was only talking about your standard badger.
There you go. Okay.
Right, next question. Question 452. What is the most annoying thing about children? And by children, we are defining them as pre-12.
Them being fucking children.
But why is that annoying?
They just are inherently annoying.
I would say, and it's something that it shouldn't be annoying. It's actually something we should kind of be encouraging, but we can get annoying. Is having questions being constantly asked all the time.
I love
It
that.
can get tiresome. I know.
MathPig, you've
really
only had
should
it. You haven't had it for long enough yet.
No.
Doorknob Head says their existence. Linda says everything. Go on.
My answer to this is, you know when younger children talk, and they don't have any context for anything they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So they just come up to you and they're like, "Well, I like mushrooms. Mushrooms are shaped like mushrooms." And you're there like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Honestly, I love kids. So for
Yes.
me,
No one's saying that kids aren't lovely.
No,
We're just asking what's the most annoying thing.
Oh, annoying. Sorry, I thought okay, no. Fuck, kids annoy the shit out of me.
Nerdy says the most annoying thing about children is that they exist.
Yeah.
Morton,
Well,
that they exist.
They kind of have to, though, for there to be future adults.
Jones says they don't take care of themselves. Doorknob has that they grow into adults.
Yeah.
Seraphim says that they can't carry on a conversation.
Yeah.
MathPig is trying to defend himself. Nerdy says, I like turtles. Sammy says, when they aren't children but not adults. And Seraphim says they're also arseholes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's both the lack of any context for anything they're saying, and the
Kids fucking
assuredness that they know what they're saying.
I think there's a lot of things you say as a kids or whatever that you don't have context, or you can be like kids can be viciously fucking cruel to one another.
Yes, they can.
because they do not have context of how much on certain things. It's going to be vicious.
Go on, MathPig. You haven't actually answered.
The only thing that's annoying me about Elena at the minute is the potty training. She keeps fucking shitting herself. Like, come on. That's really annoying. That's so much washing. Not that I hate to do it.
It's just the overall neediness of children. The fact that they can't take care of themselves at all. So, anyway, I mean, I raised Angel by myself with no help until he was like 10 years old, I think. And so everything he always needed came down to me every time. That's a fucking lot. And I love him. I love that kid so much. That's a lot, so.
I've already started to teach Elena to cook.
You know you're going to regret that.
My mum raised me. My mum. I was a single. My mum raised me as a single parent until I was about 9 or 10, I think. Or she married my stepdad. So.
Can I just poke my face in a sec, Commander, and say did a really good job?
That's just because you're biased.
He grew up.
I like Star Wars. Of course, I'm biased.
I gotta say about it, he could have turned out a hell of a lot worse. He's done really well.
She is a
yes, but I've seen you repeatedly complimented about what he knows about Star Wars.
He could probably put all of us to shame here.
Well, I don't care about Star Wars, so admit. As far as I know, that's all he knows.
If anyone's ever seen the interactions between her and her son, they're hilarious.
Yeah,
I could see that. Actually a future debate between Badger and Angel on Mandalorian culture at some point.
I guarantee you, he would agree with Badger on it. I guarantee you.
I think we'd agree on a lot of it, but I think there's certain bits where we differ. This is just from the sort of brief interaction on the thing.
He does love the Mandalorian. Plus, he loves some of the Mandalorian bits in fucking Rebels, which I still hate and won't watch. But
am I going to have to mute you two?
That was yesterday, guys.
I might organise Star Wars.
Star Wars Day was yesterday. It's
that means we don't talk about it for another 364 days.
I do not give a single shit when Star Wars Day was, unless it is Star Wars Day and I can use it as the reason I'm talking about Star Wars. When it's not, I'll just talk about Star Wars anyway.
Right, I need to say something to MathPig. You are going to regret that.
I know you've been trying to say it for a couple of minutes.
I know, terribly. Before I inherited Jennifer, I taught her lots of things. And with no anticipation that I'd ever end up living with her or taking care of her. I regretted virtually every single thing I taught her.
Why? Why would you regret teaching them to cook?
Well, because she will do it on her own. She will do it at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she will empty the kitchen, and she will put a cup of oil in the microwave, and try and blow up the house.
No, not going to happen.
Wow.
Yes, it will.
No, we go through things. Even when she's at the saucepans and everything, she knows to keep her hand on the bench and one hand on the spoon. She knows that. She's very good. No,
she'll be fine. It's everything else you've got to worry about.
I guarantee you, whatever happens, there's no way your kid will end up being the same little shit I was as a kid. So you'll be okay. There's no fucking way possible.
Don't push her boundaries. But
she will.
She's independent. She is independent.
Exactly.
Right,
okay. Right. Amanda, you're buzzing.
God fucking damn it.
Stop.
Right. Next question. Where are we up to?
Oh, I've unplugged it. That's why it's not working.
Why is it when Dave says it, you just mute and smile, and when I say it, you go fuck off and run?
This is not a happy smile. This is a go fuck yourself smile.
It's just she's.
There you go.
I'm gonna shut up. Right. Question 453. What is the most annoying thing about teenagers?
Oh, they think they're right.
Yeah.
I know everything.
They know everything. Definitely. Yeah, especially this generation of teenagers, they're a bunch of schmucks.
You know that every generation says that.
No, this one in particular stands out.
They say that too.
They say that too.
I couldn't be a big one.
Obviously, I've never had experience actually like raising a kid or a teenager, but I used to do part-time like youth work in a youth club, and yeah, that they think they know better, but a lot of the like little shit teenage boys there who used to like try and get up to shit or whatever. I'd catch them every single fucking time. One of them when he just one long before he turned 18, he said, "I want to know how it is you always caught me." I said, "This is because I was a little fucking prick at that age as well." I said, "I did all the same shit you fucking did."
I said that once to somebody. I was because I invented this shit. That's why I know. Like they just.
I said, "You lot are fucking amateurs."
Right, answers here.
Real.
Doorknobhead says that I am not one anymore. Randy says everything. Seraphim says, they're arseholes. Jones says not showering enough. Morton says same answer. Nerdy says that they exist. Doorknobhead that they get to watch the end of the world end and we don't. Randy says their friends are damn annoying. Sammy says, don't even fucking get me fucking started, Dave. Fuck. Jones says, depends a lot on the teenager. There's only one I'd sacrifice if forced to. Manda, you have perspective.
I'm going to say that from my perspective, some of them like the fucking Disney films.
You have a problem with people liking them?
Star Wars.
We're not. We're talking about Disney.
Everyone else has already said all the rest of my answers, so I've got one unique perspective, and I'm going to say it.
Amanda hasn't spoken yet.
What's wrong with Disney, Badger?
I'm thinking when the has a teenager.
Everyone shut up.
Fuck you all. I mean, Dave's been through it, but I'm in the middle of it right now, and it's all about attitude. Their attitude is
your
awful.
teenager son. That's
And yours is only 16. It gets worse.
Yeah, it does.
Well, thanks knowing all of you. We're locked down together. This shit is getting worse. I'm fucked.
You think it's easy now?
I don't think it's easy now. It's fucking hard as shit. Ask MathPig, like, how many times a week am I like, he's being such an asshole to me? I feel horrible about myself.
It's okay.
But it's
Insult his hair. Insult his hair.
Yeah.
You should just see them, right? At like midnight when he's getting to bed and she's screaming and shouting at him, and she's like, you fucking did this all day and you didn't fucking do that. And by the way, when you're going to bed, brush your teeth and wash your face.
That's why. You see? Major too.
I think it might just be like a certain irony that you way you talk about your kid and you named him Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, she didn't name him Angel. You're mistaking that. If she'd named him Angel, you would have expected him to behave. She didn't name him Angel. She named him after a cunt. The most evil cunt in an entire TV series.
What a cool ass cunt. Yeah.
Oh, he was cool!
Still a cunt.
It was fucking hilarious last week, I think it was, and he was saying something to her, I don't know what it was, and it was muted. And then she unmuted just at the end. She goes, "Do you know what you are? You're a fucking son of a whore. That's what you are." And then he left, and I was like, "You know you're talking about you."
Oh god. Nerdy says it's true. It's primarily the younger audience that likes the Disney Star Wars films. Morton says one of them. Shut up. Morton says one of them turned into Justin Bieber. Sammy screams, "Yes, Manda." Not sure why. Nerdy says, where did Amanda's son get all the attitude from, though?
I'm wondering.
Seraphim says, oldest nephew is 15. He's a complete asshat. And Jones says, soon as they turn 25, they're fun again.
There's only 9 more years, Manda.
Yeah, you're right. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Don't worry.
So I suppose as an addendum, which I really should put this question in because I thought about it. Which is worse? Pre-12 or teenager?
Oh, teenagers, no two
Teenagers,
fucking ways
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
There's no dirty nappies.
Teenagers.
Yeah, but I have a daughter.
Yeah, there's other stains on the underwear at that age.
Right. Pre-12, they're not so mean. They're kind of, they'll be nice to you sometimes, but teenagers, you can actually have a conversation with them, like where they at least somewhat understand the context.
You can have a conversation with a 7-year-old and really enjoy it.
Yeah, you can.
You can
Yeah.
be more. You can be more yourself with the teenagers though. Like Angel's friends, they're well, not now because of the isolation thing, but they're usually always at my house, and they always have questions that they can't talk to their parents about or whatever. And being able to be more yourself and open with the teenager helps them open up to you. You can't do that with a 7-year-old.
Look who had to come up and get attention.
See. Hello.
Hello, puppy.
Yeah, he wants
Hi.
to.
I'm trying to be involved in a fucking show here, though, dog. Can you go away?
No. Joan says
Don't
pre-12s.
answer.
Sammy says teens. Randy says Joan is right, so much easier. Morton says both is worse. Joan says teens can operate the fridge and the stove. I'll have you know pre-teens can operate the fridge and the stove. You don't want them to, but they can. Sammy says teens. Seraphim says small children. Sammy says teens. Sammy says teens. Seraphim say teenagers can carry on a decent conversation. Don Uphead says, okay, we know who the teenagers think the hot mum of the neighbourhood is.
It's kind of true, but
We've mentioned the MILF word before.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, 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 no. Damn, no.
No, don't go there.
Nope, nope.
I think the consensus is going to be teens because of the whole attitude thing and stuff. But
And stuff.
I'm still going with the smaller ones because I used to do a lot of volunteer work for teens and children from some disadvantaged areas. I could have a conversation with teenagers, and I could actually like teach them I was doing music workshops. I could actually teach them rhythms and stuff. And the younger kids were just kind of like, you get a drum and
Fair enough. Apparently, then several people think the dog is worse than both.
What?
They said dogs. They said doggy.
No, dogs are better than people. Dogs
Way
are
better.
than humans.
Way.
Back in a minute.
Yes, but MathPig's dog doesn't pee in the middle of the floor when he's pissed off.
What?
Dave,
Yeah.
you said you wouldn't tell anyone about that.
Right. How long's he going to be? Shall I do the next question, or I'm going to have to repeat it?
I just do it. Fuck him. Whatever.
You'll be fine. You'll catch him.
Question 454. What is the most unusual thing that you have crafted out of sand or snow?
I've crafted a pentagram in the sand.
Uh,
Why are you giggling?
Okay, so me and some friends of mine, we were making, it was snowing, so we decided to make an obelisk. And it came out really well, but it got really tall, nobody could reach the top, so the top became a bit of an awkward shape, and eventually it started to resemble more of a nobelisk.
What's worse is, I knew where this was going from the very start, and I've never heard this story before. Did you add 2 circular orbs?
Yes.
Doorknobhead says a hot tub. Nerdy says a
sand
sand
or
peen. Seraphim says a penis. You're not a bunch of fucking kids.
I have just always tried to build the biggest, bestest sandcastle.
Well, as far as playing with sand, I try to dig as deep as I could in the beach. We got really deep, like we got real deep.
Do you know what?
Sounds like a porno.
Deeper, deeper.
And snow. We there was so in New York. Growing up, we had really big snowstorms, and I remember we were able to dig a tunnel from one side of the street to the other. It was a pretty big avenue.
We used to do that too.
Yeah, and yeah, that was kind of the coolest thing we did with the snow.
You did tunnels.
Yeah, from like one side of the street to the other, and it's a pretty wide street, so it was a big accomplishment for us. We were kids. We were like fucking 8, 9.
No, I think it would be great. I mean, I think the best thing I did out of sand was massive channels of water.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening with the hole we did. It ended up channeling, but yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I lived on the beach.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. I lived about 45 seconds from the beach. But the point is, I spent my summers around a lot of people. The beach was nothing to me. Like most people that grew up around something, it was. It's always there. It's not special. But I grew up. We live somewhere. We live at a beach that is unbelievably popular.
Okay.
Right, to the point where in the summer there will be thousands of people sat on the beach doing things.
I grew up in New York in summertime. It gets like that on certain beaches. So
what's interesting though is the kids or the people. There are people that want to build big sandcastles, and there are people that want to dig big holes. And it's really weird that there is this split.
Okay.
That one wants to go up and one wants to go down.
Well, with me, it's because I couldn't ever master stacking the sand. That's my frustration. To this day, I can't stack sand to build on top of it. Like, I don't know how to get the right formula with water to make it stick and hold. So I just went down. I just started digging.
You need more
What
water.
about, Dave, the people that dig a hole and then build a sort of like embankments and walls and crenellations around it?
What do you mean, like a castle?
Yeah, not like a castle, more like a gun emplacement kind of setup, where you got like a pit that you're down in, and you've set up like defenses around it, and then all the random knobheads walking along on the beach, you just laugh at them because you're safe in your sand fort.
Dave, you've got to look at the list of your regular guests here. We are the people with a bit of a tendency to dig holes for ourselves.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent.
Seraphim says, I was young, no snow here or sand to craft with. Doorknobhead says, really deep porn/philosophy. Same. The only thing we did with sand was bury each other. Only the head out. You had to free yourself from Joan. Never really did that.
Yeah,
Linda...
I let that happen to me once, never again.
Was that on the beach or was that in the bedroom?
That was in... it was on the beach.
Linda says I'm not good at constructing things. We're not really talking. We're talking basically. I mean, making a sandcastle is just making a big pile of sand.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That doesn't have to be posh. It can just be a big mound of sand.
So basically, you're talking about a sans Celtic hill fort. We say sand castle. We expect it to look something like, I know, at least
No, what you end up doing is a
part.
massive mound, and then you put a little sandcastle bucket on the top.
Did you have to say massive mound twice?
Yes, 2 massive mounds with 2
little sandcastle buckets on the top.
Exactly.
2 massive mounds.
Do
Yes.
you put like a little circle around the sandcastle bucket?
You tend to use the slightly wetter sand. It gives that this darker complexion and textures it right.
Okay, and that's clearly for defensive purposes, of course.
Yes, very much so.
Look at Amanda's face.
time.
I'm lost I've lost what's going on in the chat. I really am. Because Doorknob Head says, "Can you circumcise a duck?"
What?
Godless Granny says, "I have no art skills, but I can make a duck." Doorknob Head says, "With a potato peeler."
Right.
By the
Right.
way, Godless Granny, thanks to the sub.
Yeah. Okay. On circumcising
Notification.
duck, you cannot.
No,
They do not have the required parts for that.
That was not what you were. When we are discussing what you made out of snow and sand.
Also, why have more people not mentioned sand and snow penises?
Lots of people did in the chat, and Trainbeck just said a pair of boobs. Why were there not more boobs? They require more effort to craft.
Do they though?
No, not really.
I mean, they do if you want to have some artistry to it, but the basic shape is fairly simple.
I think they're easier to make out of snow.
See, in snow we had more room to build up, regardless of what your skill was. But when we went to the beach, it was always too crowded to build something. It was something that would always happen, step on it or water or something. So we pretty much dug to see what the hell was down there. And we'd find, like, you know, growing up, like little crabs and shit that lives under the sand, and you bug out trying to chase it because you see it digging. And it's pretty cool. It was more of an exploration
Yes.
than it was anything else.
And that
And
sounds
then-
cool. It explains what I've seen actually from some American shows, because you would have had this massive amount of piled up snow. And intellectual iconoclasm says, I used to snow cave in the mounded up snow from the snowplows.
Yeah.
Doorknob Head says, I made an igloo, although I never know whether to believe what Doorknob Head says. Santi says, an octopus with 7 arms. What the hell?
That's
Why-
not an octopus.
No.
Well,
It's a septopus.
It's an octopus with an amputation, you could argue, but
Right. Because then otherwise it's called a
septopus.
sectopus, right?
Oh dear God. Okay. Just to annoy Caroline.
Can we just call it a fucking squid? Chemicals.
Right. Question 455.
I know what you're saying.
Fuck, Dave.
Did I what? Did I not do you?
No.
Oh, they already got me distracted.
You haven't answered yet, either.
Manda, come on then.
Manda, did you make a snow penis?
Fine, just go on to the next
Nope.
question.
Wait, answer the
No,
question.
come on, no,
No.
come on.
We all want to know.
No, it's super fucking nerdy.
Go on. Oh, it's even better. You actually have a real answer.
Well, I mean,
What was the real answer?
I was around snow more than sand because it was Connecticut. We were half an hour from the shore, though, so we were at the beach a lot. But we never really made anything with the snow. But I remember being at the beach with Angel when he was younger and trying to teach him the second law of thermodynamics in the sand. It was so stupid. He was like really young, but I was all, talking entropy to him and shit, and it was, yeah. So super nerdy. I fucking told you. Move on to the next question.
So you're drawing like equations and stuff in the sand, were you?
You
Yeah,
still
that's kind of cool though. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I mean, I used to do lots of messages and things. I'd be in there every day.
Are you still near the beach now, Amanda?
What?
Are you still near the beach now?
No, and here I'm 4 hours from the beach. It's not.
Are you allowed to make sandcastles in the bunkers?
No, we're not.
What about if you...
They get mad if you yell out the window, like 4! Like they get pissed off when they're golfing.
Go to the beach, Amanda,
Yeah,
and
but-
dig a massive sarlacc pit.
I think I'll just go overnight when nobody's on the golf course, and I'll do it in one of the
If you
traps.
dig a massive starlac pit and then like symbolically sacrifice an effigy of Mickey Mouse to it.
And do a crop circle around it.
Bring some like
I'm
tentacles
liking nerdy's
put
idea.
in there and a big beak.
Maybe an effigy of Jar Jar as well.
How are we
already
back
have
at
a
Star
great
Wars? I know, I was about to read it,
HR
but I can't word it edgeways.
I know.
You know who's in this
Friend of
film?
Hiker.
Well, you know, Anakin hates sands, Dave. You know.
Right. Nerdy says, I think we need everyone to send in their best snow or sand penises to Dave so that he can make a compilation video to go with this question.
All right.
What do you mean, alright? I'm not sure I agree.
The good weather coming up. Everybody to the beaches.
You'd do that in the name of art, wouldn't you, Dave?
If people sent me enough, yes, I'd do it.
I could pop down the beach.
Um,
It's an essential journey for a sand penis.
it is. But for competition.
You won't leave the house to go for exercise or talk to people and maybe sometimes to get food, but you'll leave to make a sand penis.
I go to exercise.
Priorities in life.
I swing a sword around in the garden.
Right. I was going to say, you wanted my answer. Or don't you care anymore? I can move on.
I think your answer.
I did mention earlier that I'd made massive channels. Moving water around, especially in storms. I like to go down in the storms because the beach was empty and I could make fucking channels of the water flowing onto the beach. But I think the coolest things I tended to make were cars. I'd make something out of mounded sand. If you think about like an Aston Martin top. If you cut an Aston Martin in half topwards, I'd make that in the beach that you could sit in.
Wow. That's fucking impressive.
Spends a lot of time at the beach.
Pretty damn.
It's not really. It's not really. It's a mound at the front, a mound at the back, and some walls, and a raised bit for a seat. It's not really that impressive, if that makes sense. But
If you'd done like an Aston Martin DB5 with an ejector seat in the sand, that would be fucking impressive.
Can you make the little guns pop out of the headlights?
no,
And the revolving license plate thing.
no. It was made out of sand. The engine hardly worked.
Well, I think you're being creative enough here, Dave.
Was there any forests near you, Dave, or were you just all about the beach?
No, there were forests near us, yeah.
Yeah. I had more time in forests, trees, things like that.
I spent, especially in my teenager years, I spent more time around horses then. So I spent quite a lot of time up in the woods.
Yep.
But yeah, my early childhood. I might explain more off stream.
We should have a conversation with Kaz, and then some night in my channel we will have a critical cripple. This is your life.
It's going to present him with a big red book.
Yeah.
These are the bits that he can remember.
That's why I said I'd talk to Kaz.
If she didn't know anything about my childhood.
Well, you might have told her. She probably would remember.
Right,
Moving
next
on.
question.
I just saw an excellent tweet.
Question 455. Do you want to do your tweet first?
Oh, I just wanted to see how you'd react to me saying something completely irrelevant.
You
I love how
arsehole.
you're paying attention to the fucking game and you're not playing on your phone, Badger.
Oh, I don't look at them on my phone. I just wanted to see how Dave would react to me saying something completely irrelevant.
Question 455. And this is
We're used
really
to
going
it,
to screw
Badger.
with Caroline. Which is better? 70s porn or 80s porn?
What decade was Debbie Does Dallas made in?
I have no idea. This question
I
is
think it's the set-
sponsored by BigZebra.com.
I think it's made in, I know it's arguably not the best porn in this movie ever, but it is like the most famous. So on that count alone, I might go with 70s.
Yeah, they used to try to like make a movie. Like I was trying to toy with that stupid acting classic.
Yeah. It's like the Emmanuel series. It's just been ruined. It's almost as badly as Disney ruined Star Wars. You know?
Yep.
MathPig!
Who's buzzing?
I'm just, 70s and 80s. Not that I watched an awful lot of 70s and 80s porn, like, but I'm just thinking of a joke between hairy bushes and hairy heads. One's got big hair, one I don't know. They're all bad.
To be honest, I'll give an honest answer though. Honestly, I'll just say 70s, but it's going to come as a bit of a shock to people. I do not watch porn. I just doesn't interest me at all.
I've never stopped to ask what decade it came from. I've absolutely no idea.
Was Ron
You can-
Jeremy the
You,
90s?
usually
Yeah.
tell, you can usually tell by the haircuts that you're used to.
You're looking at the haircuts?
Well, then I have to change my answer.
Depends where the hair is, Dave.
But definitely, it's whatever. Porn doesn't have stories anymore. They don't have scripts, and if that.
No, I beg to differ. They have some great scripts. I mean, I've never heard the end of any of the stories, but the bits I hear.
Time out. Okay, I take that back. They have great scripts. You are correct. But like they used to try to act. It was hilarious.
They used to try and act.
Yeah, that effort they put in was like worth the watch before they got to the sex. And I miss that. They don't have that anymore. Now it's just like, hi, let's fuck. They fuck. That's it.
No,
Right, cool.
You're saying it's no like erotic art anymore in it.
Yeah.
You're watching the wrong sort of porn. There's definitely that sort of porn still out there.
Yeah. Like
I'll take your word for it, Dave. Because like I said, honestly, all jokes aside, porn has no interest in me whatsoever.
Amanda!
There was.
I don't watch porn. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure we've had a conversation about your extensive collection.
I'm sure one of the other members of the panel
keep
can
it a little
use
bit-
No,
schematics
wait.
or something.
It's not my extensive collection. It's my eclectic interests. So,
is it collected? It must be collected. Is it
no,
VHS?
it's plastic.
Do you still have the VHS player?
No. Well, actually, yes, I do. But fuck off. I'm done with this question.
Moving on. Doorknob Head said 70s. Doorknob Head said 70s again. Nerdy said 70s. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, I prefer porn in the style of 80s porn. Trainbeck said 70s, they didn't shave back then. Big Zebra says... What?
Oh, I thought you'd finished. Carry on.
You're too kind.
Nice of you.
Big Zebra says, come on, we all know you have a preference. Morton says, I'll have to do some research on that one. One moment, please. Doorknob Head says, porn of 200 BC. They're cave markings. Anyone can view that. Nerdy says, Disney does Dallas.
Disney does fuck off.
MathPig says, did they not have Pornhub back then?
No, I didn't.
No, Trainbeck said that.
Yeah.
Doorknob Head says, Debbie Does Dallas is 1978.
There you go.
Intellectual Iconoclasm says, my favourite porn click was Orgasmo. Anyone got any clue about Orgasmo? Is it a good film?
Is it what the guys from South Park who did that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It was who?
The guys from South
Trey
Park.
Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah, and it was a porno, but it was also it was a story. It was
a comedy and a porno.
Yeah,
like-
and they presented it to like real execs, and you see them get the fuck out of here.
I can't remember the exact setup of this one thing I saw, but they just dispensed with the setup immediately. They walked into it, I think it was like a plumber kind of setup, and
Yeah,
the plumber walked in, and he's there just like, well, it looks like your washing machine's broken. There's woman there just kind of, it's a shame I don't have any money. He said, well, I don't have any tools. Are you even a plumber? No. Let's fight. It's just like, oh, I see. You've just you're what's the word I'm looking for? Subverting you're subverting the expectations of the plot being terrible by making it not there, but making it look like it's going to be there.
Nerdy says, imagine if they did a film version of the fan fiction. The question is whether or not they can convince MathPig to play himself.
Oh, I have no problem with that, but someone else might have a problem with that.
Fuck off!
Will Amanda play herself?
Okay.
Which chapter am I in?
It's fan fiction, man. You could end up with a badger.
Pretty sure I have Dave in one chapter too. So
Oh, there's all the later chapters still to come, though.
I know. This is the best thing about it not being finished.
You might have to get somebody like a body double for some of it.
Morton says, okay, back. 80s, I guess. That was very quick. I don't feel you have done the other decade justice. Trainbeck says, Dave, you watch porn. Okay. Mr. MathPig says, nerdy rodent, boom, shaka, wow, wow.
See, I'm only into like a really very specific subgenres. So
Did they make much of that in the 70s or 80s?
No, not much. It's mostly linked to fictional universes I like.
Right. Should we move on? Oh, there are more here. Wait there. Da-da-da-da-da. Dave, I didn't say I like 70s, just said they didn't shave from Trainbeck. Santi said the 40s. And Big Zebra said, thanks for my entertaining question. I didn't expect it to work out to be that funny. That's good. Normally I don't put questions in on the same day. But it seemed worth it.
Yeah.
Right. Next question. Question 456. Should people be allowed to obscure their identities online?
Allowed?
Yes.
No, definitely not. Yes, it definitely should.
You're not obscuring your identity by using an avatar.
Right.
You're still identifiable, is the point. It's that disconnect between identifiable or not.
What's the question?
Should people... I don't know why I'm going to repeat it for you. Should people be allowed to obscure their identities online?
Of course.
Amanda.
yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Barney says no too, because there's a lot of dangerous shit out there, like anti-vaxxing and stuff like that. That nameless people get behind and people die because of it. So that pisses me off. But on the other hand, to be able to, I know someone in Egypt who's an atheist who's trying to escape, and he's trying to have a voice at the same time. So the only way he can do that is by obscuring who he is.
Yes, very much so.
That. So I guess it depends. I don't know.
Jeff.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes because the internet is not a safe place. It's not. The internet is not a safe space. We see. We've seen shit even on the peripheries of our own community of people being doxxed and shit happening. So I'm going to say absolutely yes. Some asshole, I won't mention his name on stream, but some asshole did attempt to dox me, which I thought was kind of funny because my name was kind of out there anyway. But who's buzzing?
Amanda.
Buzz.
Very mad. Yeah, that was really overpowering though. But I think you should be allowed to in that respect. If in that respect, I think you should be allowed to do that. Because I've seen some shit that people who have doxed have done and tried to fuck with their private lives and try and phone their work to get them fired or whatever. So yeah, absolutely.
Sal.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah. that's pretty much my answer. Should you be allowed to do it? No. Can you do it? Well, that depends on your skill. But should you, be allowed to not be you and hide behind a screen? No, I'm pretty much against that.
But now the asshole who tried to dox me, so I'm not going to mention his fucking name on the stream because I don't want to give the asshole any more attention than he deserves. But he's someone who hides behind an avatar and a screen and is too fucking gutless to actually, come out for a face to face with anyone. Yeah. But he is the kind of asshole who I know has tried to phone people's work or whatever, trying to get them sacked and stuff like that. That's a whole different level to me. That's not just that's like a line that's crossed.
Yeah.
So do I begrudge anyone who may want to hide their identity to protect themselves from something like that? Not at all. It's a two-way street though, but also people can hide their identities and be fucking assholes and real shits on the internet at the same time.
But just because you have the ability to hide your identity from the general public does not necessarily mean that you have to be that you are obscuring it overall.
No, I mean, my real name's out there. I'm not particularly secret about that.
So it's not you.
I mean, so check this out. So you can have an anonymity on the internet, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to, well, who is this person? If somebody really, really wants to, they'll find out, regardless of what avatar or anything you have. It's about finding your IP address. Okay, so if you want to talk about anonymity with somebody getting online and not wanting to show their face, cool. I kind of get that. It's a really, really, really big arena. I just didn't grow up in that particular virtual arena. I grew up in a very personal environment where I get to meet people face to face. I encourage the fact that, hey, show who you are. Now, if you have personal reasons for doing that, I definitely I'm for that. But as far as hiding like who you are, as far as how you're logging in and being able to find out who you are, no, I think there's rules. There's limits. There's limits to what you should be able to do and what should you not be able to do. Yeah. Now, you find your way around that because you know the system and you know how to work it. Cool. That's on you. Yeah. But yeah, to hide completely like that, yeah, we wouldn't do it in the real world. It'd be really hard for you to do it. So yeah, let's kind of keep the status quo.
It's to be honest, I think this could be a whole stream in of itself, like this discussion.
Oh yeah, I agree with
that. This I think this is very complex. So I've got mixed feelings, and I understand that the problem there is this sort of issue of people who hide their identities on the internet to be assholes to other people, but I also understand why people will have different handles and not put their real name out there because they're trying to protect themselves from assholes like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have quite a strong opinion on it if you want one.
Sure, Badge.
You think everyone should use their complete public information to access the internet?
No. I am of the opinion that privacy is a human right, and that even asking for someone to reveal it is rude.
I think it's not a human right, but I think asking is probably rude.
Mm-hmm. I think that anyone who demands it, I would cut out of my life. If they would say to me, unless you tell me, who you are and where you live, I'm not going to talk to you. I'd say, okay, fuck off then.
Very good. Has Manda answered?
I'm a very, very much an all privacy person.
What?
Have you answered? And what were you eating? And have you brought enough for the rest of the class?
Yeah.
Chocolate, and no, that was the only one. Sorry. But yes, I was like the first one to answer, so.
I thought you were.
But did you answer?
I'm very divided on it. I don't. In the world we live in, I think we need a better educated populace, and I think we need places online where you are expected to completely identify, and places online where you can be completely anonymous. And people need to understand the difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, we can create safe spaces where people that are identified can communicate. Add spaces where you are free to do whatever you want. At the moment, the issue in reality I see online is that you have places like Twitter where some people think that this is a deeply personal space where you don't have any anonymity, right alongside people that create accounts willy-nilly to do whatever the hell they want and treat it as though they are completely anonymous.
Right.
And that's the problem. You can't have those two things coexisting in a sane world.
No.
I think you can actually, but I think that
you can't. You literally get rid of the people. You basically beat out the people that want to be genuine.
I think
if you create it so that there is a space. Sorry, I'm
I think
boxing.
you beat out the people who want everyone to be there.
No.
Completely. What's the word I'm looking for? I think you end up in a position where the people who want everyone else to be fully open with who they are can't be in the same space as the people who want to be anonymous.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
No, you also said that you can't have people who just want to be themselves, but I can't explain what I'm saying very well.
I think it's one of those things where I think if we had a longer conversation, we'd probably agree.
I think, to be honest, right, the fact that every one of us in this conversation right now on this screen has not put their full official name on screen right now says a lot.
No, I don't think it does. I think it shows that you want a unique name.
Yeah, well,
that's the problem. Yeah. We live in a world where your nom de plume online is how you are referred to.
Well, for me, I don't know about you guys. For me, I don't have a problem showing my face, but I've had this name since I was a kid. I have a brand behind it, so
that's what I mean. It's your identification,
right?
Rather than
So people, I don't hide who I am. Like you get emails from me, you talk to me. I have nothing to hide. So that my particular screen name and avatar is actually related to my brand.
Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jeff. I'm being a bit misleading. There are plenty of people that do hide their name for reasons.
Yes.
I do not give my surname out online.
Seeing the way there's so very little education, like Dave just pointed out, and seeing kids getting online and seeing all the dangers there are. Again, and anonymity is important, but it shouldn't be to the point where they can just completely hide and do harmful stuff. There should be a limit as to how much you can actually hide and not be recognized as.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. What kind of happened with me was my surname was put out on a YouTube comment section by someone who did not have fucking permission to put it out there.
Yeah.
And just because he's a malicious little prick. But I was just like, okay. I in a way though I don't have anything to hide, so here's my full name, whatever, ever. Do your fucking worst, because there is nothing you really can get on me that there is nothing you think you might have on me, that is really gonna ruin my reputation. I don't have much of a reputation to begin with anyway, but there's nothing out there.
There's nothing you're gonna be
so fucking damaging that it's gonna. Like make me lose my job or anything like that. I
learned something along the way. Say what you like, just make sure you spell my fucking name right.
Or my other one is and I just when you see my name, I've got to stress this mainly to some of my American friends. It is Jeff and not Geoff. Okay? You wouldn't fucking believe how many people do that. Yeah.
Before anybody said your name out loud, that's how I said it in my head.
I was about to stick up for Americans here and say none of us had thought that, Jeff.
They do a lot.
That for me.
I've had people talk to me that have seen him on a stream with me and have commented to me about him and have heard me, and I greet everyone. I don't always call him Jeff, I sometimes call him Godless Scummer. And they have come to me and said, you know that guy that you were on the stream with, the Geoff?
They probably missed the intro.
There's probably English people who make that mistake as well, to be fair.
Well,
So.
over here, GOGEO is popular, so.
Jeff, you think you have it rough. Nobody in my fucking life has ever pronounced my last name correctly. Not a goddamn person. So
I know. Yeah, I'm kind of vaguely aware of what your surname is, but we will not get onto that on air. So
I will never pronounce it wrong because I will never attempt to say it.
I
No,
told
I
you
think-
how to say it though, Dave.
Yeah, I can't remember.
well,
Okay.
It's like government down the road.
English people in particular are very bad at pronouncing like Dutch names. So that's already I've already said too much. So
No, it's fine. Everybody knows my name anyway. But yeah, so if Dutch names are hard, this one is specifically fucking
Just
hard.
a
it kind of
second.
reminds me. It kind of reminds me. If you ever seen that film Euro Trip at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Lucy Lawless playing the Dutch dominatrix and gives the guy a safe word, and he comes out and it's some like really long unpronounceable Dutch word he's trying to pronounce while she's hooking up the electric clamps to his dick and stuff, and it's like he's trying to say this word and it's just like this like fuck.
Yeah, Dutch is not fucking easy, I can tell you that.
Badger,
Hello.
is privacy on the list?
Yeah, fuck it. Hang on. I'll put it on. The other comment I have on this is I don't see. I think I'm a bit odd. In another way to the ways that everybody already knows about.
Do tell?
You don't only hide your name; you hide your species.
I don't understand the obsession that everyone seems to have, and I think for a
With
lot of
what?
people it is an obsession with knowing
Cheers-
exactly
cheers,
who they're
Manta.
talking to all the time. I don't know why it is necessary to have a name and title for someone.
Because
When I speak, it's quite rare. I actually refer to someone by any title. I just kind of go, hello, and then start talking.
we
I
crave
don't call
it.
anyone sir or madam or anything like that.
Your brain itches to be intimate with someone. And there's
Sorry, say
little
that
bits that our brains itch to be intimate with someone. And
They
knowing these little more, yes. And knowing this little more detail, this little more that. It's like a craving that people don't know how to deal with.
I actually think though, because we've been quite a while on this one, but this question could be like a whole debate stream, couldn't it?
Oh, this is the list that Badger's making.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
What?
because I really don't like it when people refer to me by personal things when I don't know them that well. Yeah, to me, like referring to me in an intimate, well, not an intimate way, in a familiar way is something that takes like several months long relationship for me to be ready for.
You see, I'm intrigued about asking you a question, but I don't want to do it on stream just in case.
Patrick, even if you told me even if you got to that point where you told me your real name, I still choose to believe that you're an actual badger. I prefer to believe that.
You prefer to
I
believe.
suppose actually it's kind of linked to that other thing that I've mentioned previously about an area that I'm weird. I think everyone's always asking people to do a face reveal on the
I can.
YouTube.
Okay, I need to explain certain things to you.
Just one. Let me finish my thing. Everyone's always asking everybody to do a face reveal. I'm there. They do stuff like a Twitter poll or something. Like, should I do one? I'm voting no every time because I'm much more comfortable watching someone with an avatar do a video than I am looking at an actual human doing a video. A lot of the
So
time.
is everybody. That's not the
Ouch.
point.
that's why my subscriber count is very low, because I really need a better avatar and not put myself on the screen.
No, it's
So
not. Right. Anyway, well, next question, I
Halfway
think.
through writing the word, I've got priver written on my list.
We are not discussing privets.
By the way, I'm 1 sub away from 250 subs, so someone fucking help me out in the chat here if you're not.
Someone go subscribe to Godless Scummer right now.
Yeah.
And if they haven't by the end, I'll get a sock out.
I've been trying to hit that fucking mark for like
That's
2 months
fucking
now.
cheating, Dave. Cheating.
What?
Right, let me have a look. See if I'm subscribed.
Cheating.
Yeah, I should be.
I do it.
No.
Oh, get it.
Cheating.
This could be the okay. I'm just waiting to see who.
Oh, I got it! Yay!
Oh,
Right, next question.
Thanks, MathPig.
And MathPig might need to be excluded from this question.
well,
I apologise in advance if this brings up deeply hurtful feelings. And for all I fucking know, Badger as well. Who knows?
well, I wouldn't tell you if you did.
I know.
I'm brave.
Question 457. What colours have your hair been? That still doesn't scan right. I rewrote that question 3 times and it still doesn't read right.
Well,
What
you put me.
colours her
You put me full screen for a minute, Dave. You can see there's like various colours within my hair.
I can't put
now.
you full screen.
No, we won't break the internet, but if you probably see, there's like brown, blonde, and like pure out and out grey in this already. So,
Have you dyed it?
do you know the only time I dyed it once in my life? I dyed it jet black. When I was going for a little bit of like kind of goth stage or whatever, but no, yeah. Naturally, my hair was kind of very dark brown, but obviously, as it's got older, there's a few greys have got in there. Because I work outdoors a lot of time, especially in the summer, I get kind of sun bleached, and people think I've had like highlights put in my hair, but I've never ever had that done.
Yeah.
Seraphim says brown, red, black, and blonde. Trainwreck says red, blonde, and grey. Amanda says
Okay, so I was red for most of my teenage years, probably this color for some of my 20s, and then blonde for a long time, red for a little bit again, and then whatever the fuck this is
I
my
cannot picture you as a blonde, Amanda.
I,
I just can't.
I was blonde for probably more of my adulthood. I have
have
never...
you not seen the pictures of her in the cheerleader outfit?
This is the
No,
first
there's
time-
no.
Aside from like right after Angel was born, this is the first time my hair is a natural color, like since I was probably 14. So, yeah,
But
I
yeah,
always
I-
dyed my hair.
I did dye it like raven black once or twice when I was going for a bit of goth or slightly kind of black metal-y kind of phase, you know.
Well, I did have long hair. I had long hair, not as long as Jeff's, like, but I had long hair up until about 2 or 3 years ago, and yeah, it's been a few different colors. Like,
What colours?
I dyed it purple. Just after my A levels, I got drunk, and like 3 of us all dyed our long hair purple. It was just stupid. Don't ask. I'm mad. I've been black. I've been dirty fur. I never was ginger or red. Just the beard's ginger. That's the only thing. Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. We've still got people in the chat. Morton says bluish black. I dyed it once or twice.
Cheers, Amanda. That will not be shared, obviously.
Was that the
will not
picture?
be-
Linda
It
says
may have been. We will not. I'm not prepared to say.
black, red, purple, pink, and blue. I think Linda might be winning.
Yeah.
Joan says dark brown, then reddish. Now I'm mostly grey. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, well, fine. Salt and pepper now, and I'm not even 40. Seraphim says, I'm currently blonde. Santi says, just subscribe to Rupert. Oh, you're Rupert, by the way, Jeff.
Yeah.
Mr. Rupert, sir, to you. By the
Donald,
way, okay, I'm going to do something for a laugh in a second, Dave. So,
what?
I think I've just shared something.
I can't
there
show
for
it. I
you.
can't show full screen.
No, I've just shared something in there. Oh, you can't share it.
I can't show it. I can't.
You see, this is why I always have that backup share screen. 'cause
Yeah, I haven't.
people
I need to do that. I haven't done that yet. But I can't show. I mean, it looks the makeup matches the hair.
Yeah.
Wait there. Linda, my hair is naturally ginger.
I'll get rid of it then.
Seraphim says, I'm putting off dyeing it blue and purple. Santi says, jet blue, blonde, red, green, and orange. Santi may well be taking the lead. Ginger's rule, apparently.
Yes.
And Head's gone with. Right, sorry. Sal, you.
I never dyed my hair. I was born blonde, and now it's dark brown. And at times at the beach, and I bathe in the sun, and I get highlights. But yeah, I never dyed my hair. I like different color hair. It's actually a turn on, but I never went ahead and did it to myself.
Badger.
It's black and white, as you can see.
Has it always been black and white?
I've dyed it red and purple in the past. There's hints of brown in places. There's also but the red looked silly. It was cheap dye, and it went kind of like bright flaming pink after a while. And the purple, it looked great until, you know, when you dye your hair and you put the dye in, and then you're supposed to leave it for a while and then shower.
Yeah.
I put the dye in, it looked great, it was all purple and fun. And then I went and showered, they just went back to normal again. Oh, for fuck's sake, what was the point?
Okay. I was very, very blonde as a kid. Went brown. Stayed brown. Dyed it blue in my 20s. And now it's browny grey.
Yeah, if you're giving me those eyes.
I find it really weird.
Oh no.
I'm just thinking, I think I've got a white streak here. Right. I don't think I've missed anyone, but I'm worried I have. Right, next question. What time are we at? Too long. Question 458. Would you rather send nudes to a stranger or to an ex?
Stranger.
I wouldn't send nudes. It's that simple. I wouldn't send nudes.
Yeah.
No, you have to. Within the context of the conversation, you have to.
There's no way I'd do it. There's just no way I would do
I
it.
have to.
Yes.
How bad of a relationship was it with my ex?
You don't really talk to them anymore. Let's put it that way.
So then the stranger.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. How about just top shirtless?
Yeah, maybe to an ex because she's seen it before. Perhaps I don't. That's all I can really think of saying on that. But I pure out would not send nudes ever.
Badger.
Considering my ex is a stranger.
Mhm.
I am almost all of my past romantic affairs have been disasters.
Fair enough.
Like, kind of, not in terms of like someone turns up at your house to stab you in the middle of the night disasters, but just emotional disasters where you don't ever want to be in a relationship again afterwards for like 6 months.
Yes. Banda. Say again?
Nothing. I mean, I kind of agree with Jeff. Like, the ex has already seen it. I fucking hate being naked, so I don't really want to send it to a stranger.
See, I'm completely the opposite.
No.
I've got much less problem with a complete stranger seeing me that I can just say, there you go, fuck off, don't care, no, never going to have to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Than I do to anyone that I know. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm with Jeff. I've never sent nudes, and I don't think I ever would.
I couldn't do it. I just could not do it.
I do agree with Amanda that I don't like being naked.
Yes, just don't. Sorry.
Does Doorknob Head, does bending over showing my hairy bunghole count as nude?
Very
I need
much
to
so.
manscope.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
I think that kind of counts.
I didn't need that image. Thank you very much.
Can you see your Discord, Dave?
Yes.
Right. That's
If you've
when the
sent me a
purple-
nude, I'm not going to be pleased.
That's when the purple hair was nearly washed out.
That's you.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Is that a you were in porn pic?
You wore a dress?
In porn?
There is no dress.
There is a dress?
There is
Oh,
no
you're the
dress.
other one. You're the one on the left.
The thin one, yes.
In a dress?
That's us in a Blackpool roller coaster.
I've been on that. I regretted it. Don't
I
like roller
loved it.
coasters.
Yeah, me neither. Unfortunately, my body can't handle it. As stupid as that sounds.
Nope.
Body is not ready.
Body is not ready. Wait there. I've lost. Oh! I've lost a question.
Oh, terrible. What were you thinking?
Right. Okay. This is the second to last question. And while you're answering, I have to find the last question. Because I appear to have lost it. It's not in the file. Which means I haven't pasted it. There we go. Right. Question 459. What is the highest thing you've fallen or jumped off without a parachute?
Cliff. Oh, how high was
Oh, wait there. Wait there. Okay, yeah.
Jumped off of, or
Off. Fallen.
it's got to be jumped. It's got to be jumped off of, not like any other sort of form off of it. Like
Well, what? Like what?
zip wire, for example.
No, zip wire doesn't count.
What's the highest thing I've jumped off of?
Jumped or fallen off.
Oh, I jumped off a cliff. I would say it was at least 3 stories high. 3 stories high.
Did you break anything?
No, I was into water.
Fair enough.
Wait a minute. I did fall off a roof in my teenage years doing graffiti, and I sprained my ankle. I fell off 2 stories. Yeah, busted my ass.
Jones says garish roof fallen off. Seraphim says diving board. Doorknob Head says first story house roof, high dive board. A cliff into soft dirt.
Yeah, I've jumped off a cliff into a quarry. Full of water, obviously. Like, maybe 60, 70 foot.
Ooh! Fall or jump?
Jumped.
Intellectual.
Just the one scared the fuck clean out of me. Like. But
So
I
you
did
wouldn't do it again?
Not now, because I'm too old now, and then the brain kicks in, and it's hard to over. Your body knows sometimes.
It's too hard to jump off the thing.
I tombstoned off a sort of not massively high, but kind of tombstoned off of a cliff in Peru, actually, into a river, and which they were trying to get. Yeah, we went whitewater rafting in this river just outside of Cuzco, and they're saying, like, you know, and they got to this little point where it was kind of calm in the river or whatever, and they got to this point, so we get everyone to tombstone, and it's this deep part. And just as I'm jumping off on the tour guys, as I'm about literally in the potions of jumping, I says, "Oh, by the way, piranhas." I'm like, "Motherfucker!" There were not piranhas, obviously, but I was just as I was doing that, you bastard! Like,
Seraphim says no, a roof into a lake, also a roof into a pool. Morton says he doesn't remember. And Seraphim says she fell out of a tree from about 4 foot high. Manda.
I think mine was, so we have this tumble trek at my gym, and it's just a long trampoline, but it's tighter than a normal trampoline, so it doesn't have as much give, so it doesn't launch you as high in the air. But I remember us first getting it and me doing it's about like 3.5 feet in the air itself, and then me getting to the end of a tumble routine and being at the end of the trek and launching myself off like 15 feet in the air. But luckily into maths, but it was still really fucking high because of all the inertia from all the way down the track. So that's all I can think of.
Were you never in a cheerleading tower and fell off at the top?
I was always the bottom in the cheerleading towers. Well, in the towers we were flyers. We had flyers.
You have flyers.
I was the strong one, so I.
But you get it for being tall.
Yeah, that too. Tall and strong. So.
That's kind of the same thing as what I was saying about wires, so this doesn't really count.
No, not repelling.
As I say, because otherwise I just said zip wiring a Bournemouth pier, but
yeah, no, don't count. Sammy says the pedestal that Dave puts me on.
Oh.
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 Badger.
Right. Jumped would be a big tall diving board into a diving pool. Fallen would be a big tall tree that was maybe 2.5 stories.
Wonder if it counts if you hit every branch on the way down.
Well, I was in the tree, and I was a small badger at the time. I was sitting in this tree. I climbed all the way up, and I was really pleased with myself. And my mum calls up to me and says, "Don't get blown out of the tree by the wind." So, as an absolute genius that I was at the time, I thought, well, in that case, I will lay down in this tree to reduce my wind resistance. So I did that and slid out of the tree. I went, ah! And winded myself. I landed right on the base of my spine.
Oh!
I was sitting there on the floor for about 5 minutes just going...
I've winded myself falling out of a tree.
Me too.
I remember falling out of a fir tree and hitting it. And like I said, that was a really tall fir tree, but I wouldn't have counted it as a big fall because I literally hit the branches and slowed down on the way down. Just kind of, oh no. I think that the highest is probably only about 15 foot onto rubble. Stony ground, but not concrete. Because we used to jump off our local balcony.
Here's a fun little story.
Go on.
I was climbing...
Does it involve Disney?
No!
Okay, go.
So Disney... No, I was climbing up a tree. This is when I was in primary school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going great. I was there, I was hanging from this branch, and I thought, right, I'm just going to dangle down from this branch and then drop down to the ground. I'm just going to look awesome. Right as I let go with my legs, so that I was just hanging from the arms from the branch, this kid just wanders underneath me and stands there. Ooh. And I was there like, oh, fuck's sake. So I'm there shouting down like, move! And then I realise, after a few seconds, I realise who it is. I realise it's the kid who wears hearing aids and he's not currently wearing them. I'm just fucking dangling there, like, oh.
Who have we got? We have got. I've done that. Sat on top branches, then all the branches broke one by one on the way down. I fell because my mum was trying to pull me out of the tree. I used to, doorknob head, I used to climb up high cedar trees and then shimmy down on the outside branches. Much fun. And then MathPig can tell his story.
Yeah, I think it was like 28 maybe. We hired a fucking huge bouncy castle, and because we're that age, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is for the kids," and stuff. "Oh yeah," and signed it on. Took the thing home, blew it up in the backyard, and we were all drunk, jumping up and down on it. One guy got too close to the edge, and he went up, and he went sideways, and his face went straight into the fucking garden, and he just busted his own nose.
And what does Manda say to that?
Who doesn't want to play in a bouncy castle?
Bouncy castles are great fun.
That's
Great fun.
fucking awesome.
Right, last question.
During the
What?
quarantine, bouncy castles.
We should get a bouncy castle for DaveCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Well, you know what ends up happening? We'll end up playing like Royal Rumble on there or something.
Mm-hmm.
Eh.
I might actually show up if you do that.
We might have got a badger.
You may actually get, yeah.
We need one of those bouncy castles with a net on the top.
It better be a good fucking bouncy castle if I'm going to come all the way to London for it.
I was gonna say, actually,
You're closer to London than I am.
problem I've got at the moment is if it actually goes ahead on the day that it's supposed to go ahead on, I don't know if I'm going to get the day off work, which is annoying. But
You're going to be sick. What? Vaguely. But probably not. Say again?
yeah, I've had like 3 months off. Stick it, Dave. It ain't going to fly.
Yes, it will.
Just
I'll
tell
come
him you
break
got
your
the
knee.
COVID.
Tell him you got the COVID. Problem is, if he gets the COVID, he's going to be off for another 6 months.
Mm.
Well, just
No,
tell him
problem is,
you
if I get the
got
COVID, I'm going to fucking die. That's the problem.
Tell them you got the COVID, and then tell them the next day that it was one of the government's testing kits, so it was shit.
I just the 5G lowered my immunity.
You got that 5G.
I was only four. It was only 4.5. No, right. Next, last question for today. Question 460. Would you rather have a neck like a giraffe or a tongue like a lizard?
Did we have a question similar to like this the other day?
Entirely possible. I may have stuffed up and repeated it.
Yep.
I know the neck of the giraffe thing was the thing, and I wasn't particularly keen on the idea then, so I'm going to go with the lizard here.
Lizard tongue.
Yeah.
I think
You
I'm
want to
going
join
with
Kiss, don't you?
Yeah, a forked tongue thing might, be. Someone
Okay.
might like it.
I'm going for the lizard tongue. I can use that. I can put a plate of sausages over there and just. But the giraffe neck, I think, would be impractical. I think I'd just be.
Yeah, we went through
I'd be
this.
banging my head on all the door frames, and everyone would be looking at me when I was out walking, because I'd be like literally 7 feet taller than everyone else.
I've just remembered what the other question was.
I think it'd be a disaster having a
Yeah,
giraffe.
we asked this question already.
No, I haven't.
Not-
I asked a
not-
question previously. Would you like a neck like a giraffe or a tongue that was too big for your mouth?
I just think it's like I view it in a way of like let's just say Saturday night. Your significant other is up in the room waiting for you to make sweet offer to. You're downstairs watching Match of the Day. You got a lizard's tongue. Every time you shout goal, she's going to be more than happy.
In this fantasy, it will never happen. There is no way on this planet I will watch Match of the Day.
Yeah, I knew that's where he was going.
Okay, then Super Sunday on Sky Sports.
What?
That's football, Dave.
Is it? Damn. But I don't know what that one was. I can't take the piss. So you're going for the tongue. MathPig.
Oh, I'm going to go with the tongue.
Why is Manda grinning?
I have no idea why she's grinning. I just don't want to have a stupid neck.
But Amanda's gone. Amanda's gone.
Manda, which you want?
Tongue.
I think there's a consensus here going around.
Wait, why do you want the tongue?
Because you're biased. That's why.
I answered it. Just fucking move on.
No, I didn't hear your answer. We're talking. Why do you want the tongue?
Because I don't want the neck. How about that?
That's it. That's
That's it.
That's it. Fair enough. How long did you... No, I'm not going to ask that question. Sal.
For convenience, the tongue, but to be able to see over everybody, the neck. I actually would enjoy having a long neck.
Can you use a spray can with your mouth?
Can I? Or
in general.
No.
It would be very, if you could use your head to graffiti, it would give you an advantage.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Alright.
That would be like a plus. I'd be like, hell yeah.
Also, I've got another reason actually, which is my hands are slightly too broad for Pringles tubes these days. So, I would never have that problem again. I wouldn't have to tip it and just get then the Pringles fall out and they break. You know, I could just.
Are you imagining that your tongue would be more like a gecko's tongue, so that you could literally get something from?
Yeah, I could just
flat.
stick it and stick the tube over. I'll stick the tube over my face like this, and just.
Just want a Pringles can attached to your mouth. There we go. It would be easier. Don Arpez says it would be easier to cut off the tongue like a lizard. Morton says tongue with a smiley. Oh, I see. That's a tongue.
There are actually people who have themselves pierced in the way so they get forked tongues.
Yes.
I don't get it. I don't get why, but you know.
So you can avoid the clit. Jones says I like the tongue.
Avoid it. Oh.
Wait, what? What?
What?
Steve? What?
Sorry. Amanda and I are very sweet and innocent about this stuff. If you don't mind, we don't quite understand what you're talking about here.
No clue.
I can't think of any other reason you would want to split your tongue in half.
For the look, Dave.
For the look. Do you keep your mouth open?
Not all the time. It's your tongue's not like something you just show off to everyone. It's more of like a second date thing, I believe.
Yeah, I think a piercing is more fun. Something
Also,
to rattle around.
I would never get myself pierced.
If you split
Piercing where?
Your tongue.
Too fine.
I had a tongue piercing for like 15 fucking years.
Why'd you take it out?
I took it out because I had surgery and you can't have any piercings and it closed because your tongue heals really fast.
Yeah.
And it was like a 7-hour surgery, so.
You gonna get it again?
I don't know. I've taken most of my piercings out. I had a lot.
I'm fine with the idea.
Wait. Okay, that's all right. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to add a question for tomorrow.
I'm wondering that
Wait. I just need to add a question for tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow.
I'm going to say, once I kissed a girl with a tongue spike, it's complete like spike for her tongue, and it was not pleasant.
A spike doesn't seem like it would be.
No.
Even the little ball.
It wasn't like a little stud or nothing. This is a
little ball's fine. Little ball works quite well.
This is a proper spike.
I have not enjoyed tongue piercings when I kiss a girl who has one.
The kissing is mostly irrelevant to the tongue piercing.
Okay. She didn't know what the fuck she was doing.
That's more of a problem.
Yeah.
Let me catch up with the chat again. Seraphim, tongue like a lizard. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, tongue. Does the tongue come with their scent gland in the soft palate? No, it does not. Remember, Jenkins says, well, I have a giraffe tongue in a lizard mouth.
There you go.
Giraffe's got a very thick, powerful tongue. Linda said, lizard tongue. We lose, Dorped. Chameleon tongue would be cool, says Morton. Sammy Jenkins says, can read a book and lick one out at the same time. Great party trick. Trainbeck says, big slobbering tongue.
Like I said, you could watch Match of the Day and do that at the same time as well.
Next. Oh, there you go. Intellectual iconoclasm. I had an ex with a forked tongue, and oh my god, every fantasy you can imagine isn't even close to how awesome it is in bed.
Isn't it?
I might have to rethink. I may have to rethink the forked tongue thing. Trainback. I had that with my nipples. Had to take them out. I'm assuming you're talking about piercing rather than the nipples themselves.
Yeah, you had lizard tongues on your nipples.
No. Tom says, how are you going to assert your dominance over other males without the giraffe neck?
How would
Yes,
that work,
MathPig.
though? Would the nipples be like...
I didn't hear you, Dave, over Badger. What were you saying?
How are you going to assert your dominance over other males without the giraffe neck?
Well, I have other means to. Yeah.
That's why. There's means and ways, isn't there?
So no one wants the neck.
Nobody wants the neck. Everybody
How
wants
disappointing.
the tongue.
It's
Of
a
course
tongue.
they do.
It's a consensus on the tongue, I believe.
Coming in your
This is silly.
Trainbeck says, no, I unscrewed my nipples. Are you Crichton?
No matter how hard I twiddle it, I can't seem to pick up the
Right. Space Corps Directive 34124. No officer with false teeth should attempt oral sex in zero gravity. You mentioned Crichton, I've got to go there.
Right. On that note, I'm going to say thank you to MathPig, BadTemperedBadger, to Jeff, to Sal, and to Manda. And we will hopefully see you all tomorrow. I think we'll be late tomorrow. I can't recall. I might have seen something. I think Chris might have something on.
I think Chris has got something going, hasn't he?
So it'll probably be after that.
There's always one of these chats, one of these debate or whatever streams.
Yes, sometime next week maybe. I don't know. I've got to do the rescheduled Lucy stream, which is going to be one evening, but I'm not really sure when yet.
Oh, she's back on the internet again then, yeah. Oh.
Yes. Right. Anyway, we shall see you all tomorrow.
Yes,
Bye.
yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.